Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ademola Shano and this is 30 Days of Sense. Do all to hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 1k subs as soon as possible, and share, like, comment and watch the next video to help the YouTube algorithm to recommend my videos to more persons around the world. Alright, so today what we're going to be talking about is very particular to teenagers between the ages of 13 to 20, but then persons who are older than this can be concerned with this too, because there are different family settings, right? And what am I about to talk about is the simple fact that what do you do when your parents seem very annoying? Now the truth is, and I won't mind what the truth is, teenagers can be very annoying and parents as well can be annoying, and the reason why each party can be annoying is because of the differences. One is Gen Z, one is a millennial, and all of that. So both parties can be very different in their belief, in their style, in their values, in their ideologies, or in the information that they have, right? Younger persons have access to the internet more and can find out some information that the parents might not be able to find out. Younger persons can see the real world and how it's responding to them, but some parents might still be past washed, in the sense that they might still be focused on how things were run in the past, and some parents might think that the way they dealt with them when they were growing up is the way they'll deal with their young people, right? While it's not a fluke or it's not a lie that some of the approaches the forefathers used are what we still need in this generation, it is also essential to note that this generation is a different kind of generation, and some of those things might have to be modified or treated in different ways, right? So I think the very first issue is that we don't want to accept that the millennials and the Gen Zs are different. So I think parents have to first off come to this point where they understand that, okay, I'm different to the generation of my child. And then teenagers also have to imbibe this idea very well in their head that your parents are different from you. Your parents do not understand this current generation. That's the truth. Not every parent takes the time to train themselves on how to respond to certain issues in today's generation and all of that. For example, in today's world, a child would almost not see it as anything to respond when his mom is talking to him. Why did you do that? Huh? And just respond and say, this is the reason I did this, because of this, because of this. Now, it might get the parent annoyed because in their own times, they were not allowed to speak. No matter what they're asking you, you cannot talk. No matter, in those times when they look at you with the eyes, like you just know all the information. But some persons might not know, some teenagers might not understand. And so parents must also learn this. They must also try to understand that apart from the fact that the generations are different, the intelligence quotient of these persons are also different, the emotional quotients are also different, and so parents must learn how to deal with each child differently. Your first child might be able to take all the tongue lashing and all of that, but your second child might not be able to. The girl might be able to take it, the guy might not be able to, and he might just spiral down into depression, all of those things. Now I saw a movie recently which is Kilboro, right? And in that movie, that young boy, presumably I think about 12 or 13 years old, wanted to kill his father. And the reason he wanted to kill his father was because his father was always beating him and beating his mom. Albeit unknown to him, his father had changed, right, and was already making amends. But because the father didn't understand that this generation is one that really wants open conversations. So in those times, the parents, when I was growing up, my mom didn't apologize. My mom never told me I'm sorry, right? My mom never told me I'm sorry. Like, she would offend me, like it's evident. But then you see, we're in a generation where we didn't believe the elders could offend people, right? But I tell you for a fact that the elders can offend the younger ones. It's the younger ones that will learn how to respond, and I'm going to get there, right? So my mom never told me sorry. What she would just do is she would just give me, your food is in the kitchen. That was an apology. So I understood. It took time, but I got to understand that, okay, this is how she relates apology, right? And while I'm very big on words. I'm very big on words. No matter your actions, I really want to still hear you tell me that you are sorry, right? But then I had to understand that my mom was not that kind of person, and I had to adjust, right? And so one of the things that young persons will have to do is to learn their parents too. Right? These people say, many young people say, my mom don't know me. And I ask the question, do you know your mom? Apart from the fact that my mom will beat me and all of those things, that's not just it. Do you really know your mom? Do you know how she responds to pain? Do you know how she expresses pain, how she expresses dissatisfaction? These are things that you must also learn. So you see, the job of parents and teenagers, or the job of parenting, is a two-way work, in the sense that the parents will have their own very rigorous training, and the teenagers have to also mentally train themselves to respond to these things. So my mom never told me sorry, but she would always serve me food, and she never stabbed me with food for once, not once. No matter how angry she was at me, she never stabbed me with food. Now, this current generation, in the movie that I watched, the boy was presumably wanting, just call me and say, son, I've changed. I'm sorry that I hit you. I'm sorry that I hit your mom. I'm sorry that I've been drunk, I've been this. That's what the generation of today wants, because they've constantly seen more information that shows that relationship should be about open communication, every type of relationship. And that's why this generation would get angry if a pastor doesn't apologize if he was wrong, because it should be open right now. So it's a different ball game. In those past times, they looked at the pastor and say, okay, if he doesn't apologize, fine, and they still had this connection with God and didn't care. But this generation is one that would want you to apologize to them first before they can go back and be sincere and be serious and free in their hearts that you actually know God, or else they'll just paint you like you don't know God, or that your work with God is not good enough to lead them, right? So we must also begin to understand this kind of generations. Parents must understand that teenagers have more knowledge than them. That's the truth. I was telling a parent recently, we're discussing, and somehow I tried to chip in something that a child was struggling with, and she was shocked. And I was like, your children know more than you. That don't. I was like, hey, can you come this internet? And I'm like, whether they have access to a smartphone or not, they would find out one way or the other. They know all these things, and so you just have to develop how to work. Now, the issue, or this is the final point, but it's still an issue, is the fact that there is not enough parenting seminars, parenting coaches, parenting conferences for parents, and that's even if they have the time to attend those things, or if they are that intentional. Parents needs to be reorientated, if that's a word, is that parenting is not just a position they have by giving birth, but a position they take up, and they take up the responsibility. It is serious work. Now, seeing that there is not enough ways to reach out to parents and explain certain things to them, I have taken it upon myself to take the teenagers and explain the millennials to them. So there are ways that that every young person has to now understand to deal with their parents. What do you do when your mom is angry? Don't say, I expect mom to come and tell me she's angry or to apologize. What do you do when she doesn't apologize? How do you make her apologize in very polite ways that it doesn't expound or escalate? How do you respond when she sincerely annoys you? Take, for example, parents don't see, one time a friend of mine came to my house, and the next thing my mom would say was, will you not take this your underwear from this place? She just said it like that, and I was very embarrassed, very embarrassed. Now, she didn't see it as anything. She didn't see that. She just felt like your friends must know that you're a very dirty boy. Like, yeah, exactly, right? But then this generation will be like, why would she do that? Like, come on. But then you must now begin to understand how to respond. And so many times it will take teenagers to be taught tolerance also. Many young persons too will have to learn tolerance because of the disparity or the gap in the generations, right? So it's a consistent training of both parties, right? So here's my advice to you. Every time your parents annoys you, I want you to take first, be calm, and then look at it like this. We're not from the same generation. She may not understand. I'll try to make her understand. Later, when everywhere is soft, call her, explain, right? You see, parents love it. I'm telling you this. Parents love it when you explain to them in the most polite ways. Don't, once she's shouting at you, don't shout back and say, it's not, it's not, it's not. It will not enter her head. It will just be, it's what she's saying is, you're a rebel. You are rebelling against your parents. And by me, at my age, I was not doing this. So what you have to do instead is to calm down, allow all the insults, receive everything, right? Calm down. Then later on, go and meet her. Go and meet him. Daddy, I want to say something. I know you were hungry and I'm sorry. However, Daddy, the thing is, what I was trying to explain, you didn't understand. then you say it. You know the best times your parents are happy. You know when they are cool and they are fine. So find a way to enter, finger their brain. You get what I'm saying? Like just find your way in. Don't always think that they will succumb to you. You to succumb to them, and that's how family would really grow. If everybody wants to be right every time, the annoyance won't end. So, dear young person, I believe this video has helped you. If it does, share, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me, what's the most annoying thing your mom had ever done, and how did you feel about it, or your dad, or anything? Just tell me something. I really want to share and learn with you. God bless you. Remember to subscribe, and see you tomorrow on this same channel. Please subscribe. I really want to get to 1K subs.